No, I think that that's really interesting, right? It's this community mindset. When you're in recovery, you're taking a lot of people with you, and it helps when you can have a sort of team of people that say, hey, I've been through this, I've done this, and we're all consistently kind of learning from each other and working to help. What do you feel like are the biggest misconceptions about recovery and also about addiction?
Over the course of 21 years of operating Racing for Recovery, we see misconceptions both on what addiction is and what recovery is. With respect to addiction, there's a misconception of once somebody is starting to use drugs, they're helpless, it's over, they can never recover, and that is simply not true. Anybody who is currently battling drugs and alcohol can stop by making a cognizant choice to stop, and they have a daily opportunity to remain in that concept of I'm done using, and the focus becomes I'm going to get better because I deserve it and I feel good as an individual. It takes more than the 30 or 60 days that I think a lot of the public thinks that's all it takes, and it's not. It's extensive individual counseling on recovering from trauma. It's extensive group therapy on educating clients on a clinical level what recovery really is, dealing with the emotional impact of it, the psychological impact of it, and the physical impact of it, and then allowing that individual client to build a life that is conducive to their own self-betterment. A lot of times people will think you have to do a certain amount of things. We like to say you get to do anything that is helping you. So there's a difference of telling people what to do and showing people what they can do.
Telling people what they have to do versus offering them the opportunity to do what they want to do. That choices piece is like so big. And I love it. I think maybe one of the most favorite things about you is one, the way that you break down just your story and are very personable, but two, just providing these options for people. I mean, it's the way in which you share information that I think for me, especially like as an interviewer, as a host, as whatever, that's so unique about Racing for Recovery. And I mean, even the fact that you get to share it with so many people, like, you know, you've talked to a variety of audiences. I think in a little bit you're gonna go talk to some kids in New York.
So I'm getting ready to do a Zoom presentation to an agency in New York City for kids who are not where they deserve to be in life, let's say. I was out there years ago and did it in person, and I'm coming back via Zoom to follow up on that. And as we were saying, if you tell somebody what they have to do, there's an automatic pushback from that. But if you can present a life to somebody that they'll have an interest in, or at least ask questions, or be cognizant of, hey, that's different than what I've been told. They're asking me what I need versus telling me what I should do. And that's the same thing with recovery, is we want to present a myriad of things that are possible for somebody and let that person decide what they want to do versus telling them what they have to do. We were talking about misconceptions earlier, and one of the misconceptions about me is, oh, do you have to do Ironman to be sober? And it's like, absolutely not. We believe at Racing for Recovery that exercise is a part of a balanced, sober lifestyle, but I'm not telling people, well, you have to do Ironman to achieve the life that I have. I'm saying, this is what I've done. How can you create your own Ironman that makes your life what you deserve it to be, not me telling you what it should be? And you can see it from our staff, from the clients that come in here. People are way open and more receptive to that type of mindset because it's inviting and it's encouraging, it's not demanding.
Well, Todd, thank you so much for joining us. We are so excited to continue to follow the journey with Racing for Recovery.
As always, thank you very much for having me on here talking about Racing for Recovery. And I say this every time I do some form of media: if you are personally battling drugs and alcohol, you can overcome that and have the life you never thought was possible. If you have a loved one that's battling addiction, please call us, 419-824-8462. Tune in to our free podcasts and our free live stream support group meetings every Thursday night at 6:30 on the YouTube page, Racing for Recovery. We are here to help you get the life you deserve.